what's the percentage chance we could draft Ace Bailey without moving up? I do think there is several scenarios that could happen that he does fall to 8.
Gets it off in time. And he's got it, baby! Big time! Nets win!
The only Net fans you know? The only Nets fans you know? Man. I mean, come on, man. Or are these guys?
Welcome back to Only Net Fans You Know podcast. I'm Peter. Welcome to episode 105. I have a very special returning guest, the head honcho of Nets Kingdom. Welcome back to the show, AJ. What's going on, bro?
What's good, bro? How you doing today?
Good. My Wi-Fi's fucking up, so our cameras may be off at times, but there's still going to be visuals throughout the show. This episode, I want to keep it more than just draft stuff. So if you want to go into the description box below, there's going to be some CT talk and just a good old general state of the Nets. All right, let's get straight into it.
Yes, sir.
Starting on Monday, the day after the NBA Finals were done, teams are allowed to negotiate with their players. Cam Thomas is a restricted free agent, meaning that he can pretty much negotiate a deal. And if the Nets want to match it, they can. If they don't want to match it, he'll go to the other team. Nets Daily reported this quote: several sources have indicated he's likely to command a deal as high as $100 million over 4 years, well within the first rank shooting guards at his age.
I think the Nets are going to try to lowball him a little bit lower to at least 20 mil, 19 mil. But I don't know how you feel about it.
So it's really, really interesting how people thought that was a complete overpay. But when you look at the cap next year, it's only like, I think 16% of the cap, right, which is, I think that's a bargain for a 20-point scorer who's 24 years old. No,
I think it's a good bargain. I think in the future, as long as we lock him down for that 3 years, so he could possibly be an extension eligible, even if you put the fourth year player option, I think it's a really good bargain because the salary cap is going up probably in a distant 2-3 years. The salary cap's going to go up. So I think it's a good bargain because these guys are getting overpaid now. Well, they're getting paid a lot of money now.
Nobody's talking about this at all. Nets Daily also reported that CT and Sharpe are a priority. Yeah. And the reason why I find this interesting is because we might be taking a big man. If you draft a center, what's the reason of re-signing Day'ron Sharpe to a deal that's probably going to be around $10 million a year? That's
a good question. I know not a lot of Nets fans like Day'ron, and I love Day, but it's like the conundrum is if we select, let's say, Kamon Malawach at that eighth pick, he's going to be getting around probably $6 to $8 million a year, probably for that rookie scale. So it's like, are we really going to pay 3 centers, one Day'ron $10 million a year, Kamon $8 million a year, and then Nick Claxton his big contract? So it's like, I really wonder what the Nets are going to do. Are really going to hold that? I mean, we have the cap space for it, but I don't know if they're going to really commit to 3 centers at that amount of money. It's interesting to see. I don't know.
With all the cap space, do you think Day'ron is that good of an asset to just pay him and say, you know what, we got 3 centers, we'll figure out the playing time later? I like him a lot. And the rebounding, listen, if you can say one thing about Day'ron Sharpe, he is an elite rebounder, right? And that is a skill that is valuable. And I just don't know that if the 3-point shot is not there, that I want to pay $10 million a year for a center. Yes, he's still young, and yes, he can work on his game. Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like if you do take a center, that's going to drastically change the plans.
No, and I agree. And I think I was talking to Sane about this, and I think like if we got a center like Derek Queen, which is like, he reminds me a lot of Day'ron. I feel like we would have 2 Dayrons because Derek Queen is a really good rebounder. He got measured at the combine, I think 6'9" barefoot, so he's about 6'10" in shoes. Really good rebounder. He has an offensive skill set. The playmaking's there. And then I know the 3-point shooting is not as there, but he has the skill set for middies. So it's like, at that point, it's like it's just too much redundancy. So at that point, I think I would probably try to flip Day'ron, maybe sign him and then flip him, because I know a lot of teams like the Lakers and other teams are kind of thirsty for a rebounding center. So if it came down to it, I think drafting a center is where I think about moving Day'Ron. That's my first opinion. If we draft a center, then I'll think about moving either Day'Ron or Clax. And if we don't draft a center, then it's like, okay, we'll just have these guys on the books, and then you re-sign Day'Ron for, I guess, like 3 years at a cheap deal.
Yeah. And I don't want to waste too much time with this in particular, but Desmond Bane getting traded for that deal that he got traded for with all those picks, and CJ having pretty much the exact same numbers. Maybe I think Desmond Bane, I'm a big fan. I wanted the Nets to draft him. I think he's a better player, but with the numbers being so identical, I'd have to think that CJ's stock kind of rises up a little bit, no?
Oh yeah. With Cam Johnson, bro, it's like I was comparing like both of them, and their numbers are really, really close. Like they're both 40% 3-point shooters. The thing up with Desmond though, Desmond's more. He does more. He can create off the catch. He can create. He's a way better playmaker than CJ is. But outside of that, I think shooting wise, shooting numbers, true shooting, Cam Johnson's a better catch and shoot, true shooting, I think, than Desmond Bane is. But that's probably the only reason. That's the only reason. Like I think Desmond Bane is probably worth more is because of his age, and then the fact that he can do a lot more than CJ can. But in my opinion, I think CJ's worth is at least 2 first-round picks. At least, like that's the least you'll get, in my opinion. But 2 first rounds, I think that's his worth. Desmond just got traded for 4. I think CJ is worth 2. And if I'm asking for too much, then at least 1 unprotected, 1 unprotected pick. You know.
And moving into the draft, a lot of interesting. I know I use that word a lot. A lot of interesting reports coming out. Barlow from NBA Draft, Rafael Barlow, Draft Big Board. The Nets are coveted by draft prospects. Their agents, their families want them to go to the Nets. ESPN put out a report saying the Nets have pretty much seen the biggest group of players out of all the teams. They've worked out the biggest group of players. Nets Daily estimates that we've worked out 72 players. And I guess it does make sense considering what all the picks that we do have this year. But why do you think the Nets are so quote unquote coveted?
Yeah, like I think the fact that our location, I think out of the top 10 in the lottery, we just have the biggest market. We have the most attractive market. It's New York City. Players can come here and, they can get really nice endorsement deals, be on billboards, and it'll increase exponentially. It'll increase their money output, and it's good for the agents. The agents make more money. Your brand makes more money, and you're able to be more of a public figure in New York City. And then you think about, the nightlife or the restaurants in New York City. New York City just has so much to do. It's such a great city, and it's like really big and vast. And I think it's really, really appealing to young guys. So it's not only that your money increases, you have that big market for your visibility, for your brand. And then I think New York is definitely like one of those cities that's close to everything too. So like if you're from the South, Atlanta's right there. If you're from the Midwest, it's kind of easy to get to. So it's like we're kind of like the hub of the East Coast. So I think that's why it's very attractive to like these prospects.
I think you're right, but I also think you're wrong. You're absolutely right. Right, the New York market is definitely a thing. I'm not gonna ever shit on that.
Yeah.
But I think it's the roster and the promise of playing time. You pretty much have an open roster. Like if you're the 8th overall pick, you're gonna get playing time here. You're probably gonna be the starter.
Yeah.
And maybe you do come off the bench, but you're still gonna play 35 minutes, and everything is gonna be pretty much catered to your development.
Yes. Yeah, the roster flexibility is the roster space is important too. Yes. Yeah, free. We don't have anything on this roster. It's like a blank slate, so you'll have time to play, and you'll have more time to play and fix your mistakes, go through mistakes, and kind of like that deal. Yeah, you're right.
I looked at a couple of gambling sites to see what they thought about who we're going to select if we do pick at 8, and nobody knows. Really, nobody knows. I'm going to take a little victory lap here. I think, I think you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
I threw up a theory before everything, and no one's going to believe me, but that's okay. because the real ones know that I thought the Nets might be the team that gave a promise to Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey cancels, all these meetings with the Sixers. I think one with the Jazz. There's talk about the ego. He's immature. He wants to be on the East Coast. Obviously, he's one of the top prospects in this draft. He's probably going to go in the top 10, if not the top 5. And I don't know. I just had a feeling, and I talked to a couple of the beat writers, and a couple of them thought the same thing. They thought I was onto something. And then literally the next day, all these rumors come up. What do you think about the whole Ace Bailey to Nets thing?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to your theory, and I remember when you first told that theory, and I was texting Scoop about it, and I was texting a couple people, and Ace is, well, people don't know, like Ace did go to school. He went to high school around here too, in this area, in the tri-state area, and then he went to Rutgers, which is right next to New York City. So he's very familiar with the New York area. And shout out to Rafael Barlow out of NBA Big Board. He was also talking about Ace's agents were kind of leaning towards either somewhere between New York and Atlanta. So I think he wants to stay on the East Coast because that's where he's most familiar. He went to high school, he went to college here around this area. So regarding the Nets, it's like you look at the lottery and the two teams that are going to allow him to grow and develop and be a shot creator that he wants to be, like the guy, is Washington and Brooklyn. Because New Orleans, the 7th pick, they have Trey Murphy and Herb Jones, which are really, really good wings that would probably be in front of him. I don't know if Ace is going to start in that lineup with Trey and Herb, but with the Nets and with the Wizards is the DC market, which is a little bit below us in that mid-tier area, which is kind of towards Atlanta. And I think Ace is from Tennessee, but he likes Atlanta. And then Brooklyn, where, he went to school at Rutgers, high school in the area, and he's very familiar with the New York market. So it makes sense why he would want to come to these two markets. And then at the same time, these are the two teams that have the blank slate, or they have the open roster spot for him to be the Ace Bailey that we want him to be. The shot creating, tough shot maker, scoring. He can have all the mistakes he wants to, and he'll have that time to develop with the Wizards and with the Nets because there's no pressure to win in a winning situation.
A lot of people think he might be overrated for the top 5. I know you think he's a very good player. If you could put a percentage on this, and I'll give what I think also. What's the percentage chance we could draft him without moving up?
Oof, that's tough, man. I'm going to give it a 30% chance. I think if Ace drops, the lowest he'll drop is 6 to the Wizards. I don't think he will drop to 8. I will be shocked if he drops to 8. Like something really, really bad. We will all be shocked if he drops to 8, brother. Like it's really. I'll give it a 30% chance. I think the only way we truly get him is if we try to make a deal with the Wizards to move to 6, because I think Ace will drop to 6.
I'm gonna give it like a 40% chance. I'm in the as well. I don't think it's super, super realistic. I do think there is several scenarios that could happen, right? That he does fall to 8, but I don't think it's realistic. I think the other player, and this guy was another reason that I thought the Ace Bailey thing, there was some legs to it. Fears to Nets over and over. It kind of feels like a smoke screen.
What are you hearing with Jeremiah Fears' rise, Raphael?
I've heard there's some teams that really like him, and there are some teams that feel like they would probably have to move up to get him. So Brooklyn is the team that I've heard that probably has some interest there.
The Nets never really like to broadcast who they're going to take. It's always a guessing game, even more so this year. But like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a little too much energy going Nets to Fears. But I do think they do like him, right? And he is an intriguing prospect. If this miracle happens that we're at 8 and you have Fears and Ace Bailey there, who do you take?
Oh, That's tough, bro. That's tough. I'm gonna go with Ace, and it's tough because I really love Jeremiah Fears, but I'm gonna go. Me personally, I covet the height. I covet the shooting, explosive scoring wing. I know Jeremiah he's a really really good point guard, and he has the upside to be a star at 18. He's 18 years old. He has the upside. They both have really good upsides. Probably the highest upsides in the top 10. But I'm gonna covet Ace because I need that wing. I need the 6'8", 6'9" height. It's harder to build a team with a small guard being your best player. It's very rare. You can do it in the NBA, but it's very very rare where your best player is a small guard. So I'm gonna go with the Ace Bailey.
I think I agree. And
Mm,
another reason why is because there are a lot of, I guess, good point guards, you could say, that it might be there at
yes,
19 or even
yes.
later.
Mhm,
And I think that's a huge part of it also.
mm,
I think they move up from 19 to take a point guard. I really feel like that's the play. I don't know if they like Yakatronis. I'm
mm.
a big fan of Yakatronis. I know you're not. So maybe Agor. I heard from somebody that they really like him, and I'm a big fan of Nolan Torore. I'm a really big fan. I think I would take him over Agor because I don't know if Agor's game will translate as well as people think.
That's fair. That's fair because I think Yegor and Nolan, and we were talking about this on our scouting report, they both have similar problems. But I think if I like Nolan's handle better than I do Yegor's, I think if I had to take a choice, I know the thing with Yegor, and they both have shooting issues too. So it's like they both kind of have shooting issues. They're both really, really good playmakers. But the thing that Nolan has over Yegor is that speed. He has a great explosive first step. So Nolan gets downhill a lot more than Yegor does. Like Yegor is very like screen reliant. So it's like if he doesn't have a ball screen, he might not be able to get separation and go downhill. That's how much ball screen reliant he is. Nolan is really explosive and he can just get downhill really fast. He has that explosive first step and the handle. So that's why I think I understand why you would choose Nolan over Yegor. It makes total sense, bro.
I would like to see them move up from 19. Maybe like you include CJ or something. There was another report. They pretty much named the team most likely to make a move was the Nets, and I do think there's going to be several moves made.
Mm.
I'm going to ask you over or under 2.5 trades.
Ooh, over under. I'm gonna go under 2.5. Under.
I could see them making like one or two moves with like the 20 picks. Maybe you move up from 19, then you
Yeah.
take one of the picks in the 20s and you trade out, and maybe you buy a second rounder because there's somebody that you like. I'm gonna go over on this one.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Listen, my expectations are a little lower for Sean. He should make more than over two. He should have that over, but my expectations are low. I'm gonna go under.
Over or under 2.5 for rookies on the roster next year, and we'll count like two ways in Long Island Nets.
That's tough. Over. All right, I'm gonna go over because I think we'll have at least 3 rookies on this team at worst. Even if Sean trades the last, let's say, 27 and 26, or 36 and 27. I think we'll have at least 3 rookies on this team going into 2020, the next season. So I'm gonna go over.
All right, AJ. What are your final predictions for the draft? You don't have to name like all the players for every pick. You could just
Mm,
talk like maybe 2 players and like maybe one move you expect.
mm.
Because really anything could happen.
Yeah. My final prediction is basically I think it's gonna be either Ace, Fears, or Malawai at 8. I don't know who's gonna drop, but I think somebody's gonna drop. And if I had to make my choice, I think Malawai will drop at 8. Then I think the Nets will probably make a trade to get another pick in the lottery, maybe CJ, and it's 36 pick, and that pick maybe choose like a wing, a nice wing, and then maybe one more player, and then that's at around early 20s or that 22nd pick, and then that's the draft I have. in store. I think my prediction.
I think it's going to be one of Fears, Bailey, or Maliwat. I'm going to say Traore gets picked at 19, or they move up to get him in the the late teens, and I think they're going to take Henson Yang in his 20s. What do you think about that? I don't think he's going to make it to the second round.
He's gonna be a late first round pick, bro. Like people sleep on him, bro. He has good size and he can shoot. Like I like Hanson Yang. Like first I was like, who is this slow guy? But then I saw him doing like the combine work 5-on-5, and he has some skill for a big man. Like he's kind of like baby Yao Ming a little bit to me. Yes, I like Hanson. I like that pick. I like that pick. That's a good prediction, brother.
All right, AJ, let's get some promo in there. And if you enjoy the conversation, AJ is going to be hosting a live stream on the Nets Kingdom YouTube channel for the draft. I'll be there, and we'll all react to the draft together.
Yes. So make sure you guys, lock in. Appreciate you, Pete, for coming on the channel. Make sure you guys tune in Wednesday at around 7:30. We'll have some people coming in too. Pete's gonna be there. A lot of people are gonna come in. It's gonna be fun. You can laugh at us at our torment, or you can pop bottles and cheer with us if we get Ace Bailey or we get the pick that we want. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. So appreciate you, and make sure you guys come through.